Mayor, I got a long piece from the Atlantic I'm going to send you to read.
I'm sorry?
Somebody sent me a long piece from the Atlantic. I'm going to forward it to you.
Okay.
Sounds like you have your mask on.
He does, yeah.
I can see your elbow. That's about it.
Can you see me?
I can see you, Mr. Newell.
Camera's there, so you're,
Oh.
yeah, so go down this way.
Shoot.
Yeah, so you're right on camera.
Stand up. You're
You were hoping.
Okay, so we
I can't
have,
see the TV. If
I
you
know,
can see
I was
me.
wondering if we should.
You could
On the
swing
TV
that.
screens, are you seeing the Zoom?
the chief, Rob, Dale.
We're just waiting for Darren.
No, Darren's on.
Oh, where's he?
Can
Tim's
you let
on.
Darren to start his camera?
Oh, he's on,
And
okay.
Unmute. Okay, I'm here.
there you are.
There we go.
Start my video. Okay.
There's Amber. There's
There's Darren, there you go.
Everybody?
I have no idea.
The Zoom records.
Oh my God, did we record it since the streets and sidewalks?
Yes.
No.
It's a separate recording, but.
You came over and turned it on, I think, right? Christie did.
Yeah, Krista did.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I hope she
Very-
knows to delete all the nonsense.
Well, we didn't
Do you
have
want me
any
to say
open
something
mic
so we can see if the
incidents.
microphones still work?
It needs to be blinking in order for us to do this setup. So Erin, if you'll talk and test the mic. and then-
Hello, everybody. We are just doing a quick little sound check here before we get started to make sure everyone can hear us, and we are recording for public records and all the good things.
Ask Dale if he can hear you.
Dale, can you hear me?
I
Can you
can't.
wave at me?
Kim, yes. This is, I can. There you go.
Christy, I'm going in on my laptop also. Let me in on the second one.
Only if you say please.
Okay. Are we ready for an evening full of
I
fun?
think we are.
Okay. It is 7:02 on Monday, June 8th, and I call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Village Council. Our first order of business is to rise and do the Pledge of Allegiance in person. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tremendous amount of feedback coming from something.
It was Dale being 3 seconds behind. They're 3 words behind this.
Who's doing harmony?
I would ask the clerk of council, Mr. Bloom, to do the roll call for tonight's meeting.
DiBernardo,
Here.
Evans,
Here.
Grube,
Here.
Newell,
Here.
Rocky,
Here.
Rogoff,
Here.
Wyville.
Here.
And approval of the minutes for the regular council meeting, May 11th, 2020. Were there any changes or modifications? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Motion by Newell,
Second.
second by DiBernardo. Roll call, please.
DiBernardo,
Aye.
Evans,
Aye.
Grube,
Aye.
Newell,
Aye.
Rocky,
Aye.
Rogoff,
Aye.
Wyville.
Wow.
Thumbs up.
Is he even underneath the window?
We can't see him.
What is the okay, the message box? Okay, there you go, thanks.
I think we need to unmute Darren so that he can vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said aye, but it must not have come through. Aye.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, motion passes. Report of the mayor.
Thank
Mr.
you. I just
Turco.
have.
Oh, wait, hold on. We have a fire truck leaving the station. 1 second.
There'll be another one in a second.
Might have been an ambulance.
Yeah.
There are sirens. Okay, go ahead.
Like an official's timeout on the field.
It is, it
Yeah.
is. It's like preschool when everyone stops to sing the fireman song.
I have 2 items. One, I would like to particularly thank our safety forces for conducting a safe and peaceful demonstration. I'd also like to thank the surrounding communities that lended their support and call out for special recognition Chief Dasik and Lieutenant Weiskopf,
Agree.
who worked countless hours and much nervous sweat went into that. And we all thank you for the job you have done. Second item, we received today in the afternoon mail notice from the Common Pleas Court that the Hobart property on Low Street has transferred to the village at no cost. So
This is a hillside,
That's-
unbuildable lot
that's an
below
un-
Low Street on the
yeah.
river.
That's correct. So the village now it owns all the land from really the bridge by the old Ivex plant up to I believe that parking area for where the beauty salon, Dr. Kinsel's office used to be.
So all the sort of wooded
That's
riverside
correct.
slope.
That's correct. And that concludes my report.
Awesome. Let's see. We have a report of the finance director, Mr. Bloom.
I have no report tonight, Madam President.
Okay. Did we have any members of the public who contacted us to speak to any of our agenda items?
No, we did not.
Okay. Mr. Markowitz, legislative
Thank you.
docket.
First of all, that's good news on the Hoped property. Rob, if you could email me what we got, that'd be great. The court went out of his way to sign the order for us at a time when there's nothing being signed over there. So that was really nice of them. I will call the prosecutor and thank him because he put an extra push in for us. On the legislative docket, the first item we have is ordinance number 2020-21. It's an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Geauga County to minimize inflow and infiltration of stormwater into sanitary sewer systems and to proceed with engineering design and complete construction of phase 1 of future plant improvements to the sanitary sewer treatment plant located in the village of Chagrin Falls and declaring an emergency.
Okay, Mr. Newell, can you break that down a little bit for us?
Yes, this project's been going on for almost 4 years, 3.5 years. The Geauga County owns 22% of the municipal wastewater plant, jointly owned by the village. And this is after a couple of years of identifying infiltration of stormwater and some badly needed repairs at the wastewater plant. This is essentially an agreement that the county will pay their portion of the repair costs. And it also more distinctly defines the responsibility of minimizing the I&I flow during stormwater events. So it's pretty straightforward. They've been working on it for a long time. I decided not to have a utilities committee meeting on it because we've been exposed to this work for the last 1.5 years. It is declared as an emergency because we'd like to get our money. No, I mean, it just makes sense to get these documents signed by the county commissioners and by the village and get everything up and above board. We do have grant money and we have low interest loans, and the agreement has them paying their share of the cost of all these improvements.
Have they talked about this and they're all,
Oh, yes.
board.
Oh,
Yeah, they verbally agreed.
Good.
That's what the delay's been. And it's 22% of the net amount. We didn't try to keep any of the grant money.
And this is 22% of the first tier of improvements,
Phase 1.
phase 1 improvements.
Phase 1. As phase 2, we're still negotiating.
Okay. So,
But this is the important one because it'll allow us to get to those filters, which you
That's pressing.
have seen with your own eyes.
any other questions? Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, we would need a motion to suspend the rules.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules of 3 readings for ordinance 2020-21.
Second?
We have a motion by Newell, seconded by Evans. Roll call, please.
DiBernardo,
Aye.
Evans,
Aye.
Rube,
Aye.
Newell,
Aye.
Rocky,
Aye.
Rogoff,
Aye.
Wyval.
Aye.
And-
Motion to approve?
And
Second.
we have a motion by Newell, second by Evans. Roll call, please.
Evans,
Aye.
Rube,
Aye.
Newell,
Aye.
Rocky,
Aye.
Rogoff,
Aye.
Wyval. DiBernardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Markowitz.
Next item is resolution number 2020-22. A resolution authorizing the engineer of the Village of Chagrin Falls to prepare plans and specifications and advertise for bids for repaving of certain streets within the village and for improvements to curbs, sidewalks, and the roadways on Bell Street and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Evans, this is introduced by you.
Right, we discussed this earlier tonight at our streets and sidewalks meeting, and this includes the repaved areas of Bellevue Street, Bradley Street, Maple Lane, and Columbus Street, and portions of Bell Street as allowed, and some sidewalks in the village, both on Bell and Philomathian Street, and I'm sure there's others that will be included as well. And the Streets and Sidewalks Committee did approve it unanimously, and I would recommend to council that they approve this as well.
So this bid contract is, we estimated originally 360,000, but numbers are coming in lower, correct, Mr.
Well, we're
Lamb?
hoping that they'll come in lower. That's the whole purpose of going out to the bids, to little price discovery.
There we go.
Yeah, nothing will happen until it comes back with an
Right.
approved bid by administration to council to take action on.
And then a couple years ago, we had passed a road tax, which is what's going, capital improvements tax, which is what's going to help. We have allocated dollars in our budget, which is what is going to help us
So it's
pay
just
for
road,
this.
yeah.
Because we have to use those dollars for this type of program.
Yeah,
So,
well, and in the particular case of those 4 roads, they're falling apart.
right.
Right.
And we don't want to
Yeah.
further deteriorate. Okay, any questions?
Fun to watch the street sweep, they take up more and more. Bradley, every time the bid is behind. Yeah, eventually it'll be back down to Brad.
Motion to suspend?
There's no reason to suspend an ordinance.
It's a resolution.
It's a
The
resolution.
resolution.
Yes,
Our
you're right.
parliamentarian has spoken.
We have a
Yes,
motion
in the
by
corner.
Evan.
Wait, motion to adopt?
Hold on, Dale.
This, you are authorizing expenditure of money for the bidding, for the advertising.
It's
So
authorizing them here to go to bid.
No,
It's
it's
not
good.
authorizing to spend money.
It's a, Dale, can you clarify? Because it's a bid, it's not an actual expense.
no, we're authorizing him to advertise for bids.
Right.
So he is expending money, so you need to waive the readings.
But it's still gonna come back to council for approval before he does spend.
So do we need a motion to suspend the rules, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Motion to suspend.
So
Motion
No.
to
You
suspend.
overruled.
I
Second.
have a motion by Evan, second by DiBernardo. Roll call, please.
Rube.
Aye.
Newell,
Aye.
Rocky,
Aye.
Rogoff.
Aye.
Wyval,
Aye.
DiBernardo,
Aye.
Evans,
Aye. Motion to adopt?
Second.
Motion by Evan, second by Newell. Roll call, please.
Newell,
Aye.
Rocky,
Aye.
Rogoff,
Aye.
Wyval,
Aye.
DiBernardo,
Aye.
Evans,
Aye,
Rube.
Aye.
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Next item is ordinance number 2020-23. It's an ordinance to establish curfew proclamation provisions and creating council review of curfews proclaimed by the mayor and declaring an emergency.
Okay. So this was originally brought up to the mayor and I at the end of March, early April, as we started entering the pandemic situation. And Mr. Markowitz did a review of our code, looking at what worst case scenario, what would we possibly have to manage? And what tools do we have to manage that during this pandemic? And so this would allow the mayor to issue a village-wide curfew to adults. Right now, he has that authority over minors, but it doesn't extend to those over 18. He is, I mean, if we were in a bad position tomorrow, he could still do this through an implied authority with the Ohio Revised Code. So this has been brought to us for consideration to sort of provide clarity to mayoral powers. So my friends, thoughts, comments, discussion?
Oh, go ahead.
We're going to leave this on readings.
Yes,
correct?
yes, thank you. We,
I would appreciate it.
yeah, we had a very initial conversation with this during our special meeting last week, and council was pretty clearly on the same page that we wanted to leave this on reading, so we're not going to pass this tonight. Thank you. Mr. Rocky.
Still comment, yeah.
So my only comment was that it is to protect us from legal action if the mayor were to decide to impose a curfew.
I would say it's to clarify.
It's gonna make it harder to be challenged.
Yes. Mr. Markowitz, would you agree with that statement?
I'm having a hard time hearing what Mr. Rocky's saying.
Oh, I can speak up. So it really clarifies and gives us more legal authority when it comes to a curfew than our current ordinance, or the way we're currently set up, correct?
Right, because right now there is no regulations or curbs on the mayor's authority to impose a curfew. He has that power by charter, but there's no legislation defining the limits of that power or when he should end it. So what we did was we expressly by legislation create the authority given certain conditions that exist, but then give council the authority to either modify or terminate the curfew if they believe it no longer should exist. There's been some recent litigation in Cuyahoga County, and there was just one filed in Cincinnati in federal court over the curfew there. And the question was not on the power to have a curfew, but on the length or the breadth of the curfew. And so that's what we're trying to cover here so that we have some review over that process, whereas in most communities, they don't have that kind of a provision. But it also gives the mayor the power when there's a clear present need for it to declare it. And then we specify he has to get notice of it out into our website and social media and take steps to do that. Whereas none of that existed before. So I see this as a very good improvement in establishing when and under what circumstances the mayor would impose a curfew.
And the mayor has the ability to end the curfew, and council has the ability to end the curfew.
Correct.
Okay.
This is Darren. I feel like we have some backstops in place. The curfew that applies to minors, it's already there. And then we obviously have some backstops with people that are out doing things that they shouldn't be doing, I suppose, after hours or at any time. So I worry about the amount of time we're going to spend not only citing people, but then dealing with it through through our system. And when this doesn't seem to be a pervasive problem, that's I guess my primary concern looking at this thing just quickly.
This is not something that the mayor asked for. We just merely looked at should there be an eventuality where it was needed of protecting the village from potential lawsuits given the recent court cases. So, leaving it on reading, I think, is the appropriate thing to do tonight. And, you can discuss your concerns with Dale directly, Darren. And again, it's nothing that, I'm pushing for, but rather just something to, in the unlikely event that any mayor, myself or anyone else would declare one, that we get ourselves into a needless lawsuit.
Dale, can I ask you a question? In section 1, it says that the mayor, it's the first time he could declare one is a public crisis. Is that a legally defined term? Or is that just sort of like?
Well, it's the plural, so it could be more than one, but it's not defined in the Ohio Revised Code specifically nor in our code. I don't think I'd want to, because there's no way we can predict. If you'd said to me a year ago, could we have a curfew over the pandemic? I'd say, pandemic, we haven't had one since 1918. What are you talking about? So I think it's better to leave it as it is, which is that it's for the mayor and his exercising his judgment to determine when there is a public an emergency. And if the courts think he's wrong, they'll let him know very quickly. Or here the council would. That language is similar to what's used in a number of cities throughout Ohio and probably throughout the country. It was something that our police prosecutor put together from checking codes in other municipalities in Ohio.
I have one other question. Would this give the mayor the ability to impose a curfew on a specific area of Chagrin Falls? Could we say just the downtown Riverside Park? You know, say there's something happens during the Blossom Time Festival and we need people to stay out of there for an extended period of time. Would you be able to just impose it on a specific area, or would this have to be used over the entire, the entire building?
It could be either one. Most curfews are in specific areas, but let's assume you had a quarantine situation like we had for the whole state. The mayor could certainly impose a curfew for the entire village if he felt the health of everybody in the village was at risk. But most curfews are to deal with incidences that are happening in a specific area of the village. On the other hand, if there was some kind of insurrection that could be going on throughout the entire village, and then you'd want a curfew through the whole village.
I'm thinking Ferris wheel tips over. Right. You know.
Well, an example of what could happen, unlikely it could happen, is a
Unlikely, don't think it
tornado,
would ever really happen.
tornado comes through, and you want an area to shut down.
Massive fire,
Or,
active
Yeah.
summer event at the high school.
yeah,
There's a
there's a
few.
number of eventualities, and I agree with Dale, you don't want to spell them out.
Right.
And also by giving council the ability to override, and as long as you have these electronic meeting possibilities, if some future mayor acted in what majority of council felt was an arbitrary manner, it could be overridden quite easily. This is, as I said, this was not something that I saw. It was just simply a matter of trying to reduce liability.
Okay. Any other ruminations on this for tonight?
Oh, one other comment I'd like to make. Between now and when you would get to third reading, I expect that there's going to be some more case law developing in Ohio in the federal and state courts over curfews that have been imposed elsewhere. And I think that would give us some more guidance or thought on what to do. So I think it's wise to just have it on first read.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Markowitz, next item.
Okay, if I can find it. Okay. Resolution number 2020-24, a resolution authorizing the mayor to apply for, accept, and enter into a water pollution control loan fund agreement on behalf of the village of Chagrin Falls for construction of WWTP tertiary filter replacements, generator upgrade, and other upgrades, and designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan.
Jim, you want to explain this a little more?
Tim or Jim?
Or Jim or Tim, I don't care who does it.
Tim, do you want to do this one?
Sure. This is phase one of the wastewater treatment plant work that will bid in July at this point, and hopefully award a contract in late July, early August. And then this would be on the EPA's agenda for late August to award the EPA loans. So this is just a necessary step, just like we've done for East Washington Street, and we'll do for the phase two project upcoming. But this will just the next step in the process for the EPA loans.
And are these Ohio EPA loans? Are those,
Yeah.
do those dollars still exist?
Yes.
Good question.
The source of the money may be a mix of federal as well, but
Okay,
it's coming through Ohio.
okay. Do we have any questions on this one?
Just in general with the phase one portion, how long is this gonna take? And how long are we looking?
I believe if we started in the fall, it'd be done in the spring, but I'll defer to Tim on that. Tim?
I think it'll be, the equipment takes time to deliver and so forth, so probably mid 2021. So not, not too far off spring.
We're looking at about a year.
Yeah, that would, from where we sit, about a year. If everything runs smoothly, the construction would start sometime in the fall, early winter, and would wrap up late spring, early summer. That's kind of the deadline.
We got a lot of construction.
Yes,
Got a lot going on.
Well, at the end of the day, we're gonna have what's a brand new East Washington Street from, the center of town on out, and we'll have the new residential streets. They're badly needed, your neighborhood and the others, and we're making progress.
and they can't be delayed.
No.
Our
No.
infrastructure is reached,
No, I
we
mean-
have to, yeah. we
And
have
the
to keep
money's
moving
there,
forward.
so.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's the federal money is there.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody doubts the condition of Bradley or Bellevue or Columbus,
I'll try to
No, I drove them.
yeah,
They're all over
and
the-
Maple Lane is already a gravel
Yeah.
street,
Okay.
so.
Do we have any other discussion on the resolution?
Motion to adopt.
No, we need to spend.
We need to suspend the rules
No.
because
No, you
This
don't.
one, no, because there's no advertising.
Dale, you're throwing curveballs now.
I
but it's
am.
about
It
money,
doesn't say to advertise breakers.
This
but it's
one,
about money.
yeah, go ahead and do it, though.
Okay.
Wait,
He's trying to give us trick questions.
I'm sorry, what, you want us to suspend the rules?
Yeah, because he's gonna be entering.
He's gonna enter.
That's what I thought.
Right.
Can you add, just because I'm not, so I'm not.
Motion to suspend.
Thank you. Motion to
Second.
suspend by Evans, second by
Second.
Newell. Roll call, please.
Rocky,
Aye.
Rogoff,
Aye.
Wyval,
Aye.
DiBernardo,
Aye.
Evans,
Aye.
Rube,
Aye.
Newell,
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt by Evans, second by Newell. Roll call, please.
Rogoff,
Aye.
Wyval,
Aye.
DiBernardo,
Aye.
Evans,
Aye.
Rube,
Aye.
Newell,
Aye.
Rocky,
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And with great apologies to Christy, who changed the agenda at least 5 times for Tim and I. We have a new item tonight, resolution number 2020-25, a resolution affirming funds received from the Coronavirus Relief Fund will be expended only to cover costs to the village consistent with the requirements of section 5001 of the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, as described in 42 U.S.C. 601 parens D parens, and any applicable regulations, and as required by Senate Bill 310 of the 133rd General Assembly, and declaring an emergency. This is something that was requested today from information we got from the Ohio Municipal League. The form of the resolution is pretty much consistent with ordinance 2020-19 we adopted a month ago in anticipation of passage of the bill. As of today, the Senate and the House have both passed different versions of Senate Bill 310, and they have to reconcile the bills. But Section 6 of the new bill that the House passed, which was the original Senate Bill 310, they left intact as is. So we're confident now that the resolution here and the old ordinance will cover everything. So we've certified the ordinance already to the county treasurer or auditor. And when we pass this resolution, we can send that in. Plus now there's a mechanism to register with this grant website for the state that they gave us information on today. So it's all coming together finally, and it sounds like the funds will flow much faster now, but we do need to get this passed. But if you don't want to pass it tonight, you can wait till they pass Senate Bill 310, which should happen this week and certainly before our next council meeting.
Yeah, so my recommendation would be that we leave this on readings and pass it at our next meeting. Do we have a fire alarm at Village Hall?
Frank, you better get up there.
Is this a test?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's laughing.
He's laughing.
I'm new, Frank.
All I know is Rob's jumping out the window, so.
Oh, he left.
I'm at home. I don't know what's going on.
Not good, not good.
On a pole and fly, then we're very concerned.
Cooking at the fire station.
I mean.
Rob is, I think, doing
Oh,
that.
Rob.
Let's finish the legislation portion if we have to. adjourn.
So we're gonna leave this on reading?
So the plan would be, we leave this on reading until
Yeah,
the
leave it at,
that we make sure when we pass it again, that we pass like the final thing that there's no harm in looking.
right.
Every time we check the passes
No,
Next
the
week.
Senate, we'll pass this the next council meeting after Senate approves.
We tried to get the dollars freed for the administration as early as we could, but the House sat on it for 3 weeks.
The money's available under. None.
Yeah,
If the situation changes, we'll call a special meeting.
is it Senate?
Is there something illegal about sitting there?
I think there is. I feel like we need to go.
I think we should
Should we adjourn?
The
adjourn.
fire marshal's telling me we need to adjourn, so.
Okay.
Okay,
Where is it another, are you gonna do next?
Yeah,
I guess we'll be back.
so we're going,
Tonight?
Well, we just
What do
did
they
a
do?
committee report and
we have committee reports.
Oh,
Do those the next council meeting.
I feel like we're gonna evacuate the room, guys, because the fire alarm's going off and it seems like bad public.
Right.
You can all take your iPhones or iPads, come into the Zoom meeting and we could still have the meeting.
Oh, call into the Zoom meeting.
we don't have our
Okay,
computer.
hold on, we're gonna take,
They're not outside of us.
we're taking a 10-minute recess at 7:32. We'll be back after we evacuate the building.
Hey, Frank, this is a really good time to have a fire drill.
I wouldn't mind that.
It wasn't up to me, but Aaron's right. You should evacuate.
We think they're going.
I mean you, David.
No, 2020, like here, watch this.
And it's only half over.
You're above my chair, right?
Right? I don't have any more beer.
Goes up to your head.
Have emergency, but they don't know why.
Hey, Frank. Hey, Frank, if I disappear, just say no report for me, would you? I got stuff to do.
Okay,
Hey, we're safe, man.
thanks, Frank.
Wait, I think my fire alarm's going. I gotta go outside. I'll see you. It's contagious.
Out for a few minutes and see if it gets fixed. Mind, or do you wanna, did they adjourn?
No, they don't have to. I don't know what's going on. I've been able to shut that off by now, so.
I went and talked to your guys. Doing the- We'll be back in a minute.
I'll tell you one thing, I haven't got a notice from the alarm company. That's a great alarm company we got there. Oh, boy, here we go.
Back from our recess at, I don't know, 7:35.
Yeah.
We've been advised by the police department that a smoke detector was knocked off the wall and has caused the fire alarms to go off. They need some time in order to fix this problem. So we are going to adjourn our meeting early tonight. We will attempt to schedule committee hearings before the next.
We'll just pick up the third Tuesday of June.
So we'll pick up. And if the committees can send me written reports, I'll get them all compiled and disseminated, okay?
I have no report for parking.
The 27th, it's our regularly scheduled meeting. He means the 4th, Tuesday.
The fourth, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Hey, the next regular council meeting.
but we're already adjourning, so we're gonna keep going. We have to make a decision.
No, I said the next regular council meeting.
He just misspoke. It's the next
Did I
meeting.
say
We're gonna do
Tuesday?
committee reports.
Yeah.
Okay, so what time do you have on your computer?
7:36.
Okay, we are adjourned at 7:36, and I'm sorry for the shortened meeting tonight, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Peace.
Stay safe.
Hey, you too, Dale. Good night.
See you,
Good
Tim.
night.
See ya. Hey, Dave, you'll be busy with this loan application, but we've done it before recently, so
Oh, okay.
you'll know
Let
what
me
to
know.
do. Yeah, yeah.
Send it over.